Take a look at this map. There's over 27,000 active listings across the GTA right now. This isn't just a housing crisis, it's a failure. Just 6,100 homes were sold in October, and the gap between that number and the 27,000 just proves one thing. The market is in shambles, and even worse, prices are down month over month for the first time since 2008. This is Toronto real estate, where listings go die in 2025. So let's take a deeper look at the numbers and what people are not talking about. Hi, my name is Zen. If you enjoy my data-driven and number-crunching real estate updates, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to show you a part of one chart, and I want you to tell me what you think it's about. This column of numbers is going all the way back to 1998, all the data I collected to show you which month has the most amount of active listings at the end of it. What that basically means is at the end of each month, how many properties have not been sold that are actively on the market and can be bought. Let me fill in the rest of the chart for you. You see, this is the top 10 months, and of the top 10, the top 7 all have 2025 in front of it. You see this over here? Right there. The top 7 months of all time, going back to 1998, is in 2025. And October is top 5 right over here at 27,000 active listings. This is how bad the market is right now. And this is why if you want a listing to go die, 2025 is when you should actually be listing it. Even though from September to October, sales increase, the amount of unsold inventory that is sitting around is so high, it is why the market feels like it's frozen. If you're trying to sell right now, you really have to have a 10 out of 10 property, or you just have to do a big price adjustment. Because if you look at this chart over here, this is me taking every single year, going all the way back to the 1989s and mapping from January of the start of the year to the end of October, how many total sales there were. And this is what this chart would yield. You can see over here, in 2021, we got as high as 100,000 sales by the end of October. Do you know where we are right now? This itty dinky line right here, if I cut it right across, 54,000 is where we ended in October. 54. This is the lowest we've ever seen from the end of October. The year is basically ending and we may not even cross 60,000 sales. That is just to show you how little sales we have in 2025. Look at the average line over here, which is the orange one, where we're at 77,000 sales from January to October, going all the way back to 1989 when the population was much smaller and the amount of supply of properties to buy, which was much smaller as well. And we are so low here. There is a 20,000 home transaction gap. It's really, really abysmal right now. So let me summarize this for you so you understand the gravity of all of this. You have top 7 of all time with the most amount of unsold inventory at each month being in 2025. Then you have the least amount of sales from January to October in 2025, going all the way back to 1990s. This is that recipe of disaster and exactly why prices are falling. Hey, it's me interrupting myself. Ready to make a move? Just one free call, no hassle, but decades of experience to work for you. So you can see this chart. I kept the average price points going all the way back to the pandemic, and you can see that right now we are sub 2021 pricing, which is this blue line over here. So we officially crossed that threshold in the summertime, and we are not even getting close to surpassing where 2021 ended at the end of the year. So the gap is getting very, very big right now. So you can basically say that the average GTA home has fallen in price by 4 years right now. This is exactly what this chart says. Now this chart here is me zooming into the last year. So blue line is 2024, white line is 2025. And you can see the only time the white line is above the blue line, meaning that the average price in 2025 is higher than the average price in 2024, is in January before the trade wars kicked in and there's a lot of economic uncertainty. And basically since the economic uncertainty in February, you can see that the white line is always below the blue line and it keeps dropping. And this is exactly why the average price will continue falling. Remember, because 2025 is the most amount of unsold inventory, essentially top 7 out of 10 ever, historically speaking, and it's the lowest amount of sales, there is going to be a continued pricing pressure going downwards this way. Now, next, I'm going to show you a chart that's also missing some information, and I want you to think what this is. You can see there's 6 years in front of you. What's the importance of all these years? 1991, 1993, 1997, 2000, 2002, and 2008. So when you look at all the data that I've collected, going all the way back to 1988, the amount of time that the average price in September to October increases is every single month except for 6 years. And those 6 years are these ones I put on the screen for you. And the reason why I'm showing you this chart is to show you that how often and how common it is that when you go from September to October, the average price actually increases. Because that's basically when fall market ramps up, a lot of the larger homes are selling and you get more sales. However, in 2025, one of the 6 out of 33, we actually got an average price decrease. And this is just to show you how soft the market is right now. Where we went into peak fall market, yes, sales increased, but average price decreased. It's very uncommon this actually happens. And now I'm gonna go through the actual stats with you just to show you how bad it is. So you can see $1,050,000 average price, we are down 7.6% from last year. And the other stat I was showing you earlier was basically where we month on month, we actually had a price decrease. It's very, very rare. Now, it's very common we have a sales increase. If sales actually decrease from a month to month basis, we're an even bigger doo-doo, but we're not quite there yet. But you can see we did get less sales than last year. And when you see this chunk over here all green, it just basically means that we got more new listings, we got more unsold listings, and the months of inventory, or how quickly a lot of this inventory is being absorbed, is actually slowing down. So this all basically talks about the market getting softer and softer. And this is where the whole theme of the video is: if you want to listen go die or have a very hard time selling in 2025, this is the year you should be listing right now. And it's not to say that properties aren't selling, okay? Because here's a silver lining. At the very least, we did get 6,000 transactions. But I'm trying to emphasize that you really have to understand how to sell a property right now, because it's actually very, very difficult to sell a property right now unless you know what you're doing. You really have to position it properly, because you have to be priced right, show well, and position properly to actually sell in this market. Before you even think about selling, don't let another chatbot price your biggest asset. Your property is not just another number. Hit the link in the description below and I'll send you a personalized assessment with real data and expert insights so you can sell with confidence on your terms. Now, this chart is my usual chart where it talks about how much prices have changed from last year depending on the micro market. So here's your Toronto. And you can see over here that most of them have fallen down quite a bit. And if you're wondering why condos haven't fallen as much, is because last year they fell really, really hard in August. And if you're wondering why townhomes have fallen 13%, it's because there's not many townhomes in Toronto anyways. And they really range from like a $2 million townhome in like Midtown, like say Summerhill, all the way to something that's like 800,000 in like the Scarborough area. So it's very hard to pinpoint townhome because there's just not many of them. But what you can see over here is that the detached market is falling quite a bit from the average price. But I will tell you anecdotally, when you're in like the $3 million plus kind of range, the market's actually moving. And that's mainly because a lot of the people who are buying in the $3 million price range are interest rate insensitive, right? So maybe they would have had a lot of dry powder, or they're waiting for this opportunity to kind of make that upgrade, because it does make sense right now, like I've been saying for some time, to upgrade from the, call it, medium forever home to the forever home. So like going from like the $1.5 million home to the $3 million home. And then when you look at the 905 area here, you can see it's just down across the board and condos continue to get softened. And I've been saying for a long time, I really expected 905 condos to continue falling because there's a lot of new supply that's coming into that area in the next 2 years, which is going to put even more pressure downwards on pricing. And just to nail the coffin to this whole graveyard theme, you can look at the historic October numbers and you can see we have never had this much active listings, which we already talked about. And when we talk about sales, yes, they are up minorly compared to say 2022 and 2023, which is the silver lining I was talking about, but they are still down from last year. Because when we looked at September numbers, they were actually up from last year. So this is to show you that even though we had a rate cut in September and a rate cut in October, it didn't really move the needle, which is what I've been seeing for some time. And then when we look at new listings, they did increase a little bit. But what I will tell you is that in October, I saw a ton of properties that basically hit the Thanksgiving date and they didn't get any offers, and they all terminated and they repositioned to get multiple offers. And then those actually ultimately failed and then they relisted again. So there's a huge cluster of new listings that did come up in October, but they are the same properties most of the time from what I can gather anecdotally. And then finally, the month of inventory, we're still above 4 right now. It is a very soft market. We haven't been, this high ever in October. So that's why I keep saying for the next 30 to 90 days, I continue to expect prices to be falling. And this is why there's so many people talking about, hey, is this type of housing slowdown going to be similar to the 90s or similar to the 2008 great financial crisis that the US saw? And if you want to understand the similarities between our current market and those two, make sure to click on the video that's on the screen right now. And I'll see you then. Until next time, your move, your future. See ya.